So let us start the third lecture of permutation and combination. We will be solving 7.3 exercise with its examples, and also we will discuss about permutations in a detailed manner. So what have we discussed so far? We have discussed that if I have got n different objects, I can arrange them in a row, right? So first case that I am discussing is n different objects taken all at a time. What I mean is, let me give you an example that we have already done. So if I have got four objects like O1, O2, O3, O4, and I want to arrange them in a row, or I want to fill these four places using these objects. So how many ways can I fill these four places? First place, let us say I can fill in four ways. I can choose any of these and place it here. So I have got four options to fill my first place with. Second place can be filled in three ways because repetition is not allowed, right? So these are four different objects. So if you pick one of them, then you are left with three. Then if you fill this place, you are left with two. If you fill this place, you are left with one only. So these were the possible number of arrangements in a row using four different objects all at a time. And what is this number? This is 4 factorial, if you notice. 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Right? Similarly, if you have got 5 objects, O1, O2, O3, O4, O5, these are all different objects. Now if I arrange them in a row at 5 places, if I fill 5 places with them, so what I am doing is I am using all at a time. So this place can be filled in 5 ways, 4 ways, 3, 2, 1. So this is nothing but 5 factorial ways. So number of ways of arranging n different objects taken all at a time in a row is going to be equal to n factorial, because if I use all of them, let these be n places. So first place can be filled in n ways, second in n minus 1, third in n minus 2 ways, fourth in n minus 3 ways, and so on. Last place, that is nth place, will be filled with in 1 ways. Okay, so what is this product? This product is n factorial. So I can say n different objects taken all at a time in a row can be arranged in n factorial ways. Now we also learned if there are n different objects and you take r objects at a time, where r is less than equal n and greater than equal 0. So you may take out 0 elements or 0 objects, and you may take out all of them together. So now r objects taken at a time. So let us consider r places to be filled. These are r places, right? R number of places where r goes from 0 to n. Now we have got n different objects. So first place can be filled in n ways. Second place can be filled in n minus 1 ways. For third place I have got n minus 2 options, right? For fourth place n minus 3 options. This is something we have studied already, right? So fourth place n minus 3, third n minus 2, rth n minus r minus 1, right? So rth place can be filled in these many ways. So we said that number of ways of arranging r things out of n different things, when repetition is not allowed, obviously, is equal to n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into up to n minus r minus 1. This is something that we have learned in previous lecture. Now we will use the knowledge of factorials and write it in a simple formula, right? Write it as a simple formula. So what I am going to do is this expression, right, we have already learned. Now I'll just multiply this expression with something and divide it with something to bring it into a simpler form that can be memorized very, very easily. So what I'm going to do here is, now this term is what? See, I started with n, then I wrote n minus 1, then n minus 2, n minus 3, right? So I am writing this, if this was 1, this was 2, this was 3, then there would have been 4, right? So what I'm going to do is I'll write next number as n minus r, right? So r minus 1, if there was 2 here, there was 3 here. Now there is r minus 1 here, I have written r here. So the next number will be n minus r plus 1. This will be the next number, right? And similarly you can go up to, now we are becoming smaller and smaller. See, if you notice, n is the biggest number here, n minus 1 is 1 smaller than that, it is 2 smaller than that, it is 3 smaller than that. This is r minus 1 smaller than n, this is r smaller than, this is r plus 1. So we will we are going smaller and smaller. So in the end I'll have 3 into 2 into 1. Obviously we are talking about positive integers here, right? Because this is product of natural numbers that I've written here going from 1 to n. So if you notice, the numerator has become of some comprehensible form, which is n factorial, right? N into n minus 1, so we are going up to 1 here. So numerator is n factorial here, and see, I have to multiply the denominator with the same thing, that is n minus r into n minus r plus 1 into 3 into 2 into 1 till the end. So if you see, the numerator has become n factorial, and the denominator is, I am going from 1, 2, 3 up to n minus r. So the denominator is n minus r factorial. This will be the formula that we will memorize. So if you take r objects out of n different objects and arrange them in a row without repetition, then this will be the formula. NPR will be equal to n factorial by n minus r factorial. Now I already said that r can also be equal to n. We can take all objects at a time, and we have learned that formula for that will be n factorial. So let us see, if we take r equal to n, what will happen to this formula. NPN will be equal to n factorial divided by n minus, I'll replace this r with n, so it will be n factorial divided by 0 factorial, that is n factorial. So yes, when I take all at a time and arrange them in a row, this is going to be equal to n factorial. Okay, and if I take 0 at a time, let us say n factorial by n minus 0 factorial, that is n factorial by n factorial, and it is going to be equal to 1. So there is only one way of taking 0 objects and arranging them, right? That we take no element out of it. Okay, so this np0 is going to be equal to 1. So we have done two things, that n different objects taken all at a time, arranged in a row in n factorial ways. N different objects taken r at a time, arranged in a row without repetition, npr, that is n factorial by n minus r factorial. And we have already studied that if repetition is allowed, let us say there are places to be filled, and we have got n objects, and repetition is allowed. For example, we have got some numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have to form these number of 4-digit numbers out of these, and where repetition is allowed. So 4, 4, 2, 1 is a possibility. So what will happen then? That this place can be filled in 5 ways. I can choose any of these. This place can be filled in 5 ways, this place can be filled in 5 ways, this place can be filled in 5 ways. So 5 raised to power 4 ways are there to fill these places. So if I take there are n different objects, and I take r out of them and arrange these letters or these objects, or you can say these things, when the repetition is allowed. So the number of ways will be n raised to power r. Okay, number of ways will be n raised to power r. So these are the 3 things that you have learned. Now let us say you have got n different objects, or you can say you have got n objects, you have got In this case, we have got n objects where all are not distinct. All are not distinct. I mean, some may be alike. Let me take some example first, then I'll generalize it. For example, there is a word ROOT. Now I've got 4 letters that are there in this word, but if you see, O is being repeated. So there is repetition of O in this. If I say arrange the letters of the word root in a row, and you say 4 factorial is your answer, as you have been saying with the distinct objects when all of them were distinct, then you would have said that it is equal to 4 factorial. If, let us say, there was O1 and O2 in place of OO. Let me write it more clearly. Okay, so if it was this situation, it was O1, O2 here, then you would have simply said that there will be 4 factorial arrangements of take these letters taken all at a time. So we will be discussing taken all at a time, right? So there would have been 4 factorial. Now what is the problem with this word root here is that if we follow this 4 factorial, now this 4 factorial will have these arrangements. One of the arrangements can be this RO1 TO2, and then there can be another arrangement RO2 TO1, right? Now see, O1 and O2, I have shown you that these are two distinct, but now in this word root, O and O, these are same things. So whether you take this arrangement ROTO or ROTO, these are going to be the same arrangements, right? These are not different arrangements. So what is happening is, if I simply say 4 factorial, so I am over counting these arrangements. Okay, so this is one of the over counting that I have done here, right? Because whatever arrangement that you will take for O1 and O2, for example, one of the words will be O1R O2T. Okay. Second arrangement will be O2R O1T. Now these are not different arrangements when you look at this, because O1 O2 I have taken to just to show you that how it would happen when these were different. Now when these two are same, these two arrangements are same arrangement. These are OROT OROT in this case, root. So what is happening is, I am over counting these arrangements when I simply say 4 factorial. And by what factor I am over counting it? The factor in which these two can be arranged among themselves. So O1 and O2 can be arranged in 2 factorial ways. O1 O2, O2 O1, right? So this is the over counting that is happening. So the number of ways I can arrange the letters of this word root taken all at a time will be equal to 4 factorial by 2 factorial. I have to divide it with 2 factorial, which is the number of ways of arranging O1 and O2 among themselves. So I had two things that were same, alike, so I divided it with 2 factorial. Now consider this situation. If I have got another thing, another word, let us consider any general word, institute. Now if you see, it has got 3 T's and 2 I's. So it has got 2 I's, 3 T's. What else? Is there anything being repeated? No. NSUE. And then we have got NSUE. So if you see, total I have got 2, 3, 5 and 4, 9 letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if I say it will be arranged, these letters of this word can be arranged in 9 factorial ways. Then what I am doing is, when this I is at this place and this I is at this place, right? One of the arrangements will be this, when these I's will replace each other. If I consider them I1, I2, then one of the arrangements will be this, and another arrangement will be when I2 will be here and I1 will be here. But these are not I1 and I2, these are I's. So 2 factorial arrangements are being over counted. So I'll divide it with 2 factorial. Now what about these T's? If this T is here, this T and this T, consider them T1, T2, T3 in your mind. So if there is this T1, T2, T3 or T2, T1, T3, or let us say any possible arrangement of T1, T2, T3, what are the possible arrangements? 3 factorial. So these are being over counted. So I'll have to divide it with 3 factorial to take care of that. So these were number of I's which were alike. These were number of objects which were alike. So I have divided it with 2 factorial and 3 factorial here. Now let us generalize this idea. So if there are n objects in which P1 are alike, right? These are of one kind. P2 are alike of second kind, let us say. P3 are alike of third kind, and there are pk objects which are alike of kth kind. For example, these were i's, these were of first kind, and then there were t's in institute. So we said there were i's, these were alike, and there were t's that were alike. Similarly, out of these n objects, these are alike, and then the number of arrangements of these n objects taken all at a time will be n factorial divided by p1 factorial, p2 factorial, p3 factorial, similarly pk factorial. So I have to divide them with these p1 factorial, p2 factorial just to take care of that overcounting that would happen if I don't do that. I hope I've been able to explain this to you. One more thing that I want to highlight before proceeding to the questions is bijection rule. Bijection rule. You don't have to memorize the name, just understand what I'm trying to say. If you have to count number of ways of something, right? If you have to count number of ways of something, number of ways of something happening, right? And it is getting very difficult, or it is a huge number that you are getting very difficult. It is very difficult to count the number of ways of something happening. And then you can focus on something else. You can find number of ways of something not happening, right? So what I'm saying is, if you have to count number of favorable ways, right, out of total n ways, the number of ways in favor of that occurrence or in favor of that thing to happen, you have to count this. Then what up, and it is getting very difficult. So what you can do is you can count the ways that are unfavorable and subtract it from the total. Then you will get the favorable ways. Okay, so if you are approaching a question and counting something and it is getting very difficult, then you can see the other way around, that if I think that I count the unfavorable ways and subtract it from the total, then would it be easier? This is called bijection rule, and we will be using this in our exercise questions. So let us proceed to the questions directly, and in the questions itself I'll teach you one or two concepts more. Then in the examples, then we will be able to do the exercise pretty easily. So let's proceed to the questions. Read this question carefully. Number of ways or number of permutations of the letters of the word Allahabad. So how many are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 letters are there in Allahabad. But if you see, I've got L, 2 L's, A, 4 A's. So there are repetitions, right? So there are objects that are alike. All objects are not different, right? And I've got H, B, D. So I've got H, B, D. Now you need to count. 2 plus 4, 6 and 3, 9. So yes, there are 9 objects in which 2 L's are there, 4 A's are there, and H, B, D are there. So I want to find the number of permutations of the letters of this word. If all the words would have been different, all the letters would have been different, I would have said 9 factorials. But now these arrangements, for example, 2 L's are there. So I am over counting these arrangements when L1, L2 are at some certain place and L2, L1 at a certain place, right? Because L and L at two different places won't, give you different arrangements. I hope I have explained it enough. So I'll to take care of that, I'll divide it with 2 factorial, because that is the factor by which it is over counted in this 9 factorial. So I have to divide it by that. And to take care of these A's, I have to divide it by 4 factorial, and this will be my answer. 9 factorial divided by 2 factorial and 4 factorial. So now you can solve this and find the answer. Calculation part, let us do it for these examples. Then for some of the questions, I may leave the calculation part to you. This is 2 into 4 factorial. 4 factorial I am cancelling directly. 2 here will give me 3. 5 into 3 is 15 into 7, 105 into 72. So I'll be leaving the calculation part to you in some of the questions. I hope you will understand. So these are the number of permutations of the letters of the word Allahabad. Okay. How many 4-digit numbers can be formed by using the digits 1 to 9 if repetition is not allowed? So I have to form 4-digit numbers, right? 1, 2, 3. So basically I need to fill these 4 places. And how many digits do I have? 9 different digits, 9 digits, right? And repetition is not allowed. Okay, so what essentially I am finding is 9, and this place can be filled in 9 ways, this in 8 ways, this in 7 ways, this in 6 ways. This is how we have been counting using the fundamental principle of counting. But now this particular exercise is based on permutation, so let me tell you in that way also. We need 4-digit numbers. I've got total 9 digits. So what my answer will be 9p4, right? I am arranging these 4 digits or permuting these 4 digits out of these 9 different digits. So 9p4 should be my answer, and that will also give me 9 into 8 into 7 into 6, and let us see how, because this is 9 factorial by 5 factorial. So it is equal to 9 into 8 into 7 into 6 into 5 factorial divided by 5 factorial. So this will be cancelled. Okay, so 9 into 7 into 6, 9 into 8 into 7 into 6 will be your answer, right? So whenever you have got 9p4, let us say, so you will start with 9 and go 4 steps, 9 into 7 into 9 into 8 into 7 into 6. This will be your answer, and that is how we derived that formula, right? We went from this, then we multiplied and divided with 5 factorial, then we said this is 9 factorial, this is 5 factorial. That is how we came up with this formula. Okay, so we can go the other way around also, that if I go to find 9p4, rather than writing 9 factorial by 5 factorial in some of the cases, I can write 9 into 8 into 7 into 6. How many steps? 1, 2, 3, 4. 9p4 here. Okay, so this will be your answer. Now I want you to do the calculation yourself. How many numbers lying between 100 and 1000? So I can start with 101 and go up to 999 can be formed using these digits if the repetition of digits is not allowed. So basically I need 3-digit numbers, right? These are 3-digit numbers between 100 and 1000, lying between 100 and 1000, and I have to use these digits, and repetition of the digits is not allowed. So how many digits do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I take any 3 digits and arrange them, I can arrange them in 6p 3 ways. These are the numbers that I'll get. But now look at this. In this 6p3, what will happen is, at this first place 0 will also be considered. So all the numbers that have 0 in this place will also be considered in 6p3. So how to take care of that? So if I take out 0 from these digits and arrange these 5 digits, in these two places, how many will be these? I have fixed 0 here. Okay, so what I'm doing is I've counted the numbers with 0 at this place when I say 6p3, right? Because I can take any 3 digits and arrange them, so 0 will also be taken and put it here. Now what is the problem with 0 at this place? Because this will become a 2-digit number only, and I am looking for 3-digit numbers. So I have to take out these cases where 0 is at this place. So how do I take out these cases? I fix 0 here, and let us see how I can fill these two places using the rest of 5 digits. I can fill these two places, or number of possible arrangements will be 5p2. So I'll have to subtract this from this. This will give me my answer. So what is this? 6 factorial by 3 factorial and minus 5 factorial by 5 minus 2 3 factorial. So if you see, I can take 1 by 3 factorial outside, and this will be 6 factorial minus 5 factorial, right? And this can be written as 5 factorial can also be taken outside, 5 factorial by 3 factorial into 6 minus, this will be 1, okay? And this is 5 into 4 into 3 factorial, so 20, this will give me 20, and this is 5, so 100. Alright, so these are the numbers that lie between 100 and 1000 that can be formed using these digits, and where the repetition of digits is not allowed. And if we just go by fundamental principle of counting, how can we think about this question? We have got 3 places to fill, right? We are looking for numbers between 100 and 1000, and we have got these digits to fill these places with. Now the first place can be filled in 5 ways. Why not 6? Because first place cannot be filled with 0. So this can only be filled with these 5 digits. Any of these digits will be okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Now talk about second place. This place can be filled in 5 ways. Why? Because in this place 0 is also allowed. Right? Repetition is not allowed. So first place can be filled in 5 ways except 0. Except 0. 0 cannot be filled here. In the second place, I cannot fill this number that has come at this place. Apart from that, every other digit can be filled here. 0 is also allowed. So there are 5 ways to fill this place, and there are 4 ways to fill this place. So total number of ways will be 5 into 5, 25 into 4, 100. And by going through this permutation formula, we arrived at the same result. And in mathematics, going by 2 different ways doesn't mean that you will get 2 different answers for the same question. Right? If that is happening, then one of the ways is going to be incorrect. Find the value of n such that. Now first part, np5 is equal to, let me write np5 as n factorial by n minus 5 factorial directly, and it is equal to 42 into n factorial by n minus 3 factorial, and n is greater than 4. Because if n is not greater than 4, then these will not be defined, right? If it is 4, then it will be minus 1 factorial, which is not defined. That's why this is given. So you can simply cancel these. These are simple numbers. You can cancel these, right? And 42 will be equal to n minus 3 factorial by n minus 5 factorial. Now n minus 3 factorial can be written as n minus 3 into n minus okay. N minus 3 factorial I'll write as it is, No, that is okay. What I'm saying is okay, because if this would have been 5 factorial, I can always write it as a 5 into 4 into 3 factorial. So that is what I'm going to do here. N minus 3 factorial can be written as n minus 3 into n minus 4 into n minus 5 factorial, right? Divided by, this is separate, right? So divided by n minus 5 factorial. Now I'll cancel this n minus 5 factorial and I will get a quadratic in n. So it will be n minus 3 into n minus 4 and it is equal to 42. So I'll solve this quadratic and find values of n, and n has to be greater than 4. So let us simplify this further. I can write it as, let me change the color. I can write it as n squared minus 3n minus 4n plus 12 equals 42. So this can be written as n squared minus 7n minus 30. If I bring this here, it will be minus 30 and it is equal to 0. So how can I factorize this? 10n plus 3n minus 30 equals 0. What will be the factors? N common n minus 10 plus 3 common n minus 10 equal to 0, right? So if I separate them, n plus 3, n minus 10 will be equal to 0, and if you see n equal to minus 3 will not be acceptable, so n has to be equal to 10. So that implies n will be equal to 10, because n equal to negative 3 will not be acceptable. Right? N has to be greater than 4 and we have got the value of n as 10. This was the first part. Let us look at the second one now. So this is the second part, NP4. So can I write this NP4 as n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into n minus 3? That is how we write this. That is another way of thinking about it. I can start with n and go up to 4 steps. And in the denominator, I can write n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3, n minus 4, 4 steps. And it is equal to 5 by 3. Okay. So if you see n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3, these can be cancelled, because n cannot be equal to 1, 2, or 3. Otherwise, I cannot cancel these, right? And n cannot be equal to 1, 2, 3 for this to be defined. And it is given already that n is greater than 4, so we don't have to worry about that. Now if you see, I can cross multiply and write 3n equal to 5n minus 20, and this will be 2n equal to 20 and n will be equal to 10. Find r if 5 into 4pr. What is this expression on the left hand side? 5 into 4pr. So I'll write it as 4 factorial over 4 minus r factorial. This is the expression on the left hand side, and on the right hand side I'll have 6 into 5pr, that is 5 factorial by 5 minus r minus 1. So it will become 5 minus r plus 1 here. 5 minus r minus 1, right? And factorial. So how can we cancel this? So let us see. You can write it as 5 factorial here, because 5 into 4 factorial is what? 5 factorial divided by 4 minus r factorial, and it is equal to 6 into, I am not merging this 6 here because I'll anyways cancel this 5 factorial. Let me cancel it here itself. And think about this, 5 minus r plus 1 factorial. So if I open it, for example 5 factorial, if I can write it as 5 into 4 into 3 factorial. So that is what I am going to do with this expression. 5 minus r plus 1 into 5 minus r into 5 minus r minus 1 factorial. Why have I written it like that? Let me just show you. Look at this, 4 minus r factorial, and look at this factorial here. This is also 4 minus r factorial. So this is going to be 1 by 4 minus r factorial equals 6 by 5 minus r plus 1, that is 6 minus r, 6 minus r into 5 minus r into 4 minus r factorial, right? So this can be cancelled here because r is not equal to, even if r equal to 4, will this be valid? Yes, because 0 factorial in the denominator is okay. So let's not worry about that. 4 minus r factorial can be cancelled, and this will imply that 6 is equal to 6 minus r into 5 minus r. It will again give me a quadratic which I need to solve to find r. So let us see what kind of quadratic is this. So let me write this here: 30 minus 5r minus 6r plus r squared, it is equal to 6. So r square minus 11r and then plus 24 is equal to 0, right? So how will be the factorization? 8r and 3r, and if you notice, it can be written as r into r minus 8 minus 3r minus 8 equal to 0. So either, I hope the factorization is correct, r minus 3, let me remove it. So it has become r minus 3 into r minus 8 equals 0. So r can be either 3 or 8. Let us check with the question whether r equal to 3 is acceptable or not, r equal to 8 is acceptable or not, because we always have to come back to the question and see whether it is possible or not. So r can be taken as 3, but can r be taken as 8? If I take r as 8, what will be this expression? 4pr, 4p8, 8 things taken out of 4 things. Is it possible? So 8 is not acceptable, 3 is acceptable answer. So r is equal to 3 is the acceptable answer.